Have you ever found yourself wondering, why on earth have I lost my confidence? Not gradually over decades, but suddenly, almost out of nowhere. Or sometimes it's just kind of a gradual building up and you suddenly realise, hang on a minute, who am I now? That certainly happened to me when I was going through my perimenopause years. And it was one of the most discombobulating parts of it. You start second guessing yourself. Your concentration just isn't quite the same as it was. You walk into a room and wonder why you went. And the woman, you, who once handled everything, suddenly feels uncertain. This happens to far more women in midlife than you'd know. We just don't talk about it. But once you understand why it happens, it's a lot less frightening. Many women tell me this is one of the most bewildering things about midlife and the perimenopause transition. Because, let's face it, by the time we reach our 40s and 50s, we generally have a good sense of who we are. We've been working, we've been raising children, managing households, building careers, solving problems for years. We're not new to life, so when confidence suddenly falters, it can feel really unsettling. And you might even feel embarrassed about it. It's not something that you want to talk about. After all, we're not the only ones who assume that we've got it all figured out. The world assumes that midlife women have it all figured out, that we know what we're doing and that we've got ourselves together. But what if loss of confidence isn't a personal failure, which it can feel like, let's be honest. But it's just something that a lot of us go through at this time in our lives, and there are good reasons for it. There are actually several reasons why confidence can take a hit in midlife, and they all arrive at the same time. And that can make the whole experience completely overwhelming. For example, your body starts to change. Your hormones fluctuate, your sleep starts to go up and down and become less predictable than it did before. Your energy levels shift. And when you can't trust your body in the same way anymore, confidence starts to slip. Then there's anxiety. Many women who have never felt anxiety in their lives suddenly start to feel unsettled, distracted, or emotionally fragile. You might find yourself bursting into tears for no apparent reason. That was certainly something that happened to me. I remember driving along and suddenly realising there were tears pouring down my face. I hadn't even been thinking about anything sad or unsettling. I just was emotionally fragile. Brain fog sweeps in like the fog off the sea. And that can affect your confidence. If you're somebody who's always had a sharp mind and relies on your sharp mind, that definitely affects confidence. It can be frightening. And then, of course, at the same time, our appearance starts to change. We look in the mirror and very often we don't recognise who we see in the mirror staring back at us. It's not that we look worse, but we look different. And our society hasn't done a very good job of celebrating older faces, has it? Midlife also tends to arrive during bigger life shifts. Children leaving home, for example, is always a big one if you've had them, that empty nest feeling. Your parents ageing, maybe needing some care. Career shifts, you might have reached a glass ceiling, or you might find that a career that's really filled you up in the past is just not for you anymore. You're bored. Very often we start to lose people that we love during midlife. Bereavements hit us hard, and grief is an emotion that is very difficult to live with at any age. But with all these other changes going on, it can be completely overwhelming. Redundancy often hits in midlife, leaving you wondering, what am I going to do next? And how am I going to pay the bills? And then there's divorce. So many marriages in midlife fall apart, and very often it's women that instigate that separation. But that doesn't mean it's not hard. Sometimes confidence is knocked simply by that realization that we've got more years behind us than we have ahead of us. Time just seems to speed up and goes so fast, and the ground feels as if it's shifting beneath our feet. And when so many aspects of life are changing all at once, is it any wonder that it can knock our confidence? And if you are embarrassed by that, if you are feeling that you're failing and there's something wrong with you, give yourself a break. Think about what you're going through. Is it any wonder? You're certainly not alone in this. There are so many midlife women that I've spoken to personally, my own personal experience. Confidence being knocked like this is really common. We need to talk about it more. You are navigating a profound life transition. Do you remember when you went through puberty, how that felt and how your emotions went up and down and you didn't know which way was up half the time? Well, menopause, perimenopause is kind of puberty in reverse because we're losing those hormones that we were gaining during puberty. And as we said about bereavements, many midlife women are navigating grief, not always because we've lost someone, but grief for the passing of time, grief for the way that we're changing, grief perhaps for dreams that never quite happened, or perhaps for the closing of certain chapters. As I say, these feelings are rarely talked about openly, but they're human, and just by acknowledging them can start to rebuild your confidence. But you see, here's the part that's rarely discussed. Midlife isn't the end of confidence. Very often it's a simple recalibration. Earlier in life, our confidence often comes from external sources. External validation for achievement, maybe, for approval, for being needed, for being admired. But midlife, it kind of invites a different kind of confidence. A kind of confidence that grows from self-knowledge rather than external validation. A kind of confidence that actually is more rooted, more grounded, and sets you up for the years ahead. Does any of this resonate with you? Do tell me in the comments if it does. So here's the good news. When you begin to understand what's happening at this time of life and why you're losing your confidence, something very interesting often occurs. Instead of interpreting every wobble that you have as evidence that you're losing it, you start to see it as part of a wider transition. Your priorities start to shift. Your perspective changes and deepens. You care less about pleasing everyone and start to please yourself. And gradually, something steadier emerges. Not the bright, breezy confidence that comes with youth, but something more grounded, something quieter, more steady. The kind of confidence that comes from experience, from having seen life, lived it, made your mistakes, and knowing that that's okay. And knowing that you're okay. So, if you've been feeling less confident lately, please know this. You're not alone. You're not going mad, which is what I thought. And you're certainly not the only woman wondering where her confidence has gone. For many of us, this is the beginning of a new chapter. It's a stage where confidence returns. It might be in a slightly different form, but very often it's a much stronger one. These midlife transitions can feel really bewildering when we go through them alone. That's one of the reasons I wrote Aging Wonderfully Well. To share what I've learned and what so many women in midlife and beyond have shared with me. If you're interested, I'll leave the link below. Until next week.